right? So these are the few major things which was there. And because of this, now you can understand what a data scientist do, right? So it depends at what level and what requirement and what which company you are working on and how big that project is. But many times data scientists played all these different hats at some point of time, right? At the some time they would be analyzing data, they would be working as a data engineer, they would be working more to a data steward. So I don't know what data steward is, just a word they have put, but it's more like uh, serving data or getting data to understand what is the problem you are solving, right? More like a business analyst. And then data scientist work, which is more like a machine learning engineer, where you're actually building algorithm and giving it to the data. Good. Yeah. So I think you guys have some questions. Now we will take a little bit later on. If you have any relevant questions to these things, which I'm talking right now, right? So the thing is, now you have understood there are a lot of different jobs and things, and at the same time, the data scientists play all these hats, wear these all these hats. That's why it's being called as the very cool job right now, right? But nevertheless, there are a lot of different these jobs like data engineer, data analyst jobs, which is a low hanging fruit to a lot of people who just wanted to start into their career, right? Because it does not require that much level of uh, expertise and experience. And then the transition from a data analyst and data engineer to a data scientist is not as much difficult to directly getting into that domain who has no idea, right? So that's pretty much one way of looking into it. Okay. Similarly, if you look right now, right? So these were the few things which I just told you about what is a data science project or how pipeline looks, right? So you think now all these are different domains where AI is getting used. So there is right now no domain where who is not having some component of AI, right? So right now you see the new MG cars are coming, they are saying AI enabled. New televisions are coming is an AI enabled. So every different new product which is coming, they are building a feature or marketing it as like they're having some component of an AI, right? So you can imagine. So if you are from any domain, you have an expertise like from mechanical engineering, civil. So you have some knowledge of maybe the automobile, right? Or maybe any domain which you might have worked on, retail, finance, right? So try to expertise that domain also. If you are totally new to the data science and computer background, so I'll request so master that. And at the same time, look at what all the problems you can solve, right? So if you see, so data science is one thing where you kind of use statistics, mathematics, engineering, science, computer science, right? All these technology when mixed together, you actually create an AI system or data science thing, right? Which requires your statistics, engineering, and computer science, I'll say, to the maximum extent. Okay, problem is also solving, so you can become an expert on that also. Like for example, computer vision. So if you're solving a problem for image and video, you become a computer vision expert. If you are solving a problem on natural language, which is text based, right? You become NLP experts, right? If you are using some problem solving for information retrieval or information filtering, right? That is more you're working on again an unstructured data. Then predictive modeling, right? Where you're working on predictive part, and robotics is again a specialized field. So it becomes a narrow down skills after a certain point in time. But this is a more of a specialization when you do that. Okay. So this brings us to what are the skills required to you to get started, right? So this is how that's I made this pyramid. So this is the base layers, right? How bigger that is, like the stronger it should be. So the first thing is programming. So there is no way by which you can uh, sorry. Okay, so there is no way by which you can go without looking into programming. So first thing is programming is must. Now Python programming is one of the thing which you guys should focus on if you are totally new. And even if you are not new, if you have an experience on anything, Python is going to be your go-to language for building any related. Statistics is a role because you really right? And so that's the pretty much you have to have a So statistics is a very vast field. You don't have to become a master on become a statistician, but you should have very good concepts on data, right? And then if you see, you should have a good understanding on data engineering like SQL, right? And then data analysis like some tools. So till this point, you will be a complete data analyst if you know all these things, right? And then comes your machine learning algorithms, which you have. So if you have to know what is logistic regression, decision tree, different machine learning algorithms, you can start practicing. And by practicing, you should know their mathematical logic also, right? So because in the majority of interview, you will see like you have to explain how one of an algorithm work. They can even ask you to write or explain them, right? Even that's what we also do when we take interviews, to look into how much understanding you have, because implementing is very easy. Okay, you can just you can just write two pieces of code and you can implement any algorithm, right? But that's very difficult to know which somebody has an understanding, because when you should use a particular algorithm or not, right? And then you become mature and haven't worked on a project, then the skills should be like if you have built an end-to-end project and even have deployed some of the project, right? And then computer vision and NLP is a more of a specialized skills where you become an NLP expert or computer vision expert by solving some problems in that domain, right? So that is the skill metrics, I'll say. For early things, focus more heavily on these three things, and then get into the machine learning algorithms. Okay, so this is also a good question. Many people have like how much level of programming. Now it differs like company to companies, right? But I'll say a good level of Python programming where you can even write a code in object-oriented programming and have good understanding on NumPy, Pandas, like libraries which you are going to use, right? Day to day, at least to that level. I'm not saying a competitive level programming knowledge, but you should have a basic knowledge. If somebody is asking, hey, can you write a program in Fibonacci series, right? Whether or you can write a basic a function for a loop, or maybe a at least easy level of programming question you should be able to solve. Otherwise, but it depends. So many FANG companies and they look for maybe a very high level of data structure algo knowledge also. So the thing is changing at least, s- but 80 to 90% jobs are not very much focused on data structures and algo, or very heavy on statistics. They're looking for some jobs are very heavy on data engineering part, they require is SQL. Some do not require, depends upon what job or domain they are going to work on. So then they will focus more on machine learning. So accordingly, you should look where your inclination is towards, and what kind of jobs you are also applying for. But yeah, so this is how the filtering criteria is also going to be. So many times this is one part which is the skill part, right, which you have to do. But how you'll practice that also is have a project with you. Okay, and I'm going to answer that because I see that question is there, how you can practice. So this is pretty much, you can see the skill metrics is there, right? And then comes so you can see like data analyst jobs you have seen. It's an early life cycle of any data science pipeline. So you can look for untitled capture, and then you can look for ML engineers and data science related jobs. And yeah, the some senior jobs roles which is available is data science managers and ML architect, which is maybe people having at least 8 to 10 years of experience and kind of veterans in that domain. So that role is pretty much to manage complete projects. But these are the early jobs which I think any one of you can start looking into it and focus on these jobs. Okay. So thank you. I think that's pretty much I had. I think there would be a lot of questions, so I'll answer that. So one question is, now if you say, okay, given all these things are there, now you understand jobs, how you can transition, what I can do next. First thing is start mastering these skills one by one. Okay, start practicing basics Python, basic of statistics, basic SQL. query questions, and the machine learning algorithms to in some extent. Okay, so you can do this by reading a lot of mocks. If you can get into some courses, if you guys want, if you really want to invest, or you want to get into some course where you can see all these things into a very structured manner, that also can be done. Okay, so these are the first thing, is skill. Second most important thing, like many people have now a skill, but they're saying I'm not getting job, or we how we can get into this, right? Because in the end you want a job or you want to create a project. But I'll say don't go for just with a job mindset. Start creating projects, start solving problems. Now the problems could be an hackathon problem, at least a good level hackathon problem, not a simple dummy data hackathon problem, a good level hackathon problems. And then start looking into some of the projects which you see online. Maybe it's through GitHub, somebody sharing, somebody has worked on, collaborate with some people, some research work. If you can, if you are really fortunate enough, if you can get into, try to look up some work, more of work, not of jobs. Look for work more. I'm not saying go for like free interviews. If you're not getting any output, if some really good opportunity is there, try to spend at least 3-4 hours a week at least. So working on a project, and once you are able to do something, build something from that, right? That will add a lot more confidence, and that's how you will be able to put that into your resume, your LinkedIn. You can show it into your interview that you have actually worked on some project. And yeah, then it becomes a really easy task uh, to get into the job part. Cool. So what are your questions now? Like I can look into it now. So okay, first question, Likit. I work as a biomedical engineer in a health tech startups. I've already worked a little bit data and AI. I'm curious how to improve my skills. Good. I've worked with the healthcare domain, and there are a lot of courses, and even I think there are a lot of talks happening. So when I was working with Siemens, Philips, so they're really looking up for people who have a good healthcare or medical science knowledge, as well as and good understanding of data, AI, ML. And so practice a little bit more, work on some of the problem which you think, because you might have good access to the data, or you have should have some knowledge on the data. So look for some one or two good problem and try to solve that. Okay, so if I terms in like biomedical, so if you see radiology, there are lot of problems are there, like in cardiac or in brain tumor segmentation. So radiology has their own lot of big problems out there to start work on any at least one or two project, or could be any other. If you have a structured data or and all, I think you can start working on that problems and follow these same things. So at least pick one or two projects. So there are a lot of open source data, healthcare data is available. So one good thing which I can share with you guys, if you are looking up for uh, data, right? And you think like, okay, I don't have a data, so don't worry. Google has a separate search engine for you, just for the data sets, right? So if you just look dataset search.research.google.com, right? If you just let me again share my screen. Brain tumor data, right? So if I have just randomly ask for any data, you can see what are the different data source and where they are available, right? You will get all these things. If I'll ask me, hey, give me COVID data, COVID related data, or such kind of data, right? You can see you will get all the different kind of data which is available uh, from various sites. So data is not a that much problem. Yeah, obviously the relevant data and the clean data, that could be a problem given your use case, but yeah, you can find it. Hope that answer your question. Look at the I work in a small startup and have found that data analysis generation was problematic. What are the steps I can take to improve my skills? Good. So, Likit, I can tell you, I have worked with a lot of data. I have worked with a lot of data sets. I have worked with a lot of data. So, what are the steps I can take to improve my skills? So, first, I would say, good. Improve on your skills if you're really working on that. Yeah, data analysis is a very big domain. Uh, uh, get on some tools if you can get like Tableau, Power BI. Really good in demand in industry. You can get into good fintech or maybe into good retail domain. There are a lot of good jobs available. And slowly, if you want to stick to a data analyst domain only, not one, have some analytical predictive modeling knowledge also, because not only with analysis you will be able to go very high into career. So have at least one or two knowledge on skills. And then startup journey, can we start using these tools? I'm not sure if I have enough data yet. Maybe if it's very small data, right? 10,000 rows also, if you have, you can use any tool. At least play around with those tools, create dashboards, so you will get a good hands-on of those tools, right? That is more important. So even if you can take some open source data, the startups generally use a lot of open source data, so I think that would be okay. So you can get a Tableau or Power BI license. At least 1 month is a free trial license. So use that. There is no harm in that using. 1 month is a good enough time to learn onto any tool. So once you good to get a good grip on that tool or things, it would be easy. Okay, and then start looking into the business analyst domain part if you really think like that is the next thing for you. So it's a relative thing. You have to like again ask yourself what's next in that. Feel like why is not very strong, but I don't know yet, to trying to explore a bit. No issues. Think for it. I know it's a hard thing, but if you have a good why, right? Yeah, the journey would be, you'll not lose the interest, because I've seen many people take even taking a course and 5 6 months down the line they even not able to complete those courses, and there are a lot of things. So if you have a strong why, then yeah, sure. Thanks for the writing. This is from Julia itself. So yeah, thanks to them. Okay, I've been fascinated with maths and numbers, but you say that it's not too late to get into. Yeah, I don't think there's any time late. It's good if you already have, because not many people are very much fascinated with maths and numbers. So good thing. Look up how you can utilize these things and create something good, or maybe help people out there if you really think like that is something, a kind of thing which you are looking up for. Collaborate with some people, young people. That's how you can even share your expertise. How you can find a mentor to get into data science field? Yeah, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best thing, I think. From find someone which you really think will help you, will can spend some time with you, and yeah, can give you the right advice and maybe help you in your project. So LinkedIn is the best thing where you can get a network. I wouldn't say any other platform. How to practice data science skills so we can improve ourselves? Take any data, take any business problem which you think is relevant, and hackathons are there, Kaggle is there, Hacker Earth is there. Okay, some other platforms are there, Analytics Vidya is there. So there are a lot of other platforms, but at least start with one or two problem solving, then it will make sense. Which of these rules to specialize in? Start at least with one, and then you see how you can specialize yourself in these roles. Yeah, I only have basic programming. Is that enough? Basic programming, yeah, improve on that if like it's a very basic, and start solving at least a one problem a day, or maybe at least one problem a day. That would be good enough. So you just search top 100 Python questions, right? Programming questions, just download it. Maybe if you want, just ping me on LinkedIn. I can share a lot of questions or material. So just solve at least a one problem a day, and you are good enough. And I'm not saying very heavy, high level program, basic programs in Python. Do you know a good resource to improve in Python? Yeah, there are a lot of resources to practice from. Uh, Data camp is there, but after a certain point, they start asking you for money. And basic programming, basic practicing questions. I think one is this camp is there, and you will find a lot of geeks for geeks. You will find a lot of different programming questions. Python programming tutorial, Python programming.net is there. So this is pretty much good. Just guys Google it, the top things, and maybe one or two is very much relevant you will find, and at least start with one thing. The main thing is at least look. Okay, cool. Can you share a little bit about journey? Maybe we can have a separate session. I don't think it will take more time to. Uh, no. So I think this is the last question I'll take. If there is no any question, what's the market right now for data science jobs? It's really good. It's really good. Just go to Google, sorry, go to LinkedIn and search for data science job, and you won't find a single company who is not hiring for that. It depends at what bandwidth they are, at what kind of role and thing. But there is no company. Even the banks like your Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, are such companies who were never into a technology, right? They were never into a technology company. They are also hiring. So there is no company in this probably world, or maybe they are not in the stage who is not hiring. Even the startups who are having maybe 8 or 10 people are looking for someone who can get into. So it's a very growing and very fastly growing and a good domain right now. So it's not longer a hype. People have realized that this is a very 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 strong domain to get into. Okay, so maybe if you can answer all these questions, if you have, then maybe it's a very clear thing. And if somebody has a very clear answer for all the why, how, and then, and what you are doing right now, what you want to get into, maybe just ping me on LinkedIn. I think you can just click on this link tree, or if you want, I can give you just message me, connect me on LinkedIn or something, and probably if you want to discuss, we can have a. I'll probably try to reply you within a day, and if you need any specific from there, we can take. Yeah, that much I can help you out with. But you should have all these things ready. You can't just say again some direct question like how I can start creating a Python or something. Right? Have these things, a kind of story for you, like this is what I am, this is what I have done, this is what I want to do, and this is where I'm stuck. What should I do, right? So I get these kinds of questions, but I should have your clear picture. Then I'll be able to help you. Okay, great. Thanks everyone. So I think there's no other question, we are good for today. I'll just close this session. Most probably see you next week. Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining. Have a good day.